Hello everyone, this is Kevin Mange, and this is Kev's TV series. And in today's topic, it's another talk show of Stranger Things. And we're gonna talk about these things in general, all the characters, the Upside Down, and some other things mentioned. And today, I'm your host, and I am with...
Hi everyone, my name is Gabby. I work for North Andover Cam, and I'm so excited to be here and talk with Kevin about Stranger Things.
So, Stranger Things... I would have to say Stranger Things is one of the creepiest and coolest things I ever watched. And the reason why I've been brought it up lately from the last 2 weeks was I was watching what I would normally watch, but when I discovered about Stranger Things, I did not know if I would want to watch it, but I did anyway. And it was a whole lot of a lot of scary things that was going on.
Yeah, I agree. When I first heard about Stranger Things, I never wanted to watch it because I didn't think I would be interested in sci-fi and all of that stuff. But then when I started to watch it, well, I was really creeped out. But I kind of like creepy shows like that. But I was so impressed with how much I actually enjoyed the show that I never thought I would actually like.
Yeah. It has a whole lot of good character development with all the characters in the show. Like Will Byers and Billy. We see Will Byers in season 2. And his connection with the Mind Flayer, seeing the Mind Flayer, but it's only because of what happened to him in season 1. But in season 3, because of Billy, about he was impacted by the Mind Flayer. Also the same thing with Will, but he did not cough up a slug. But there are definitely other people that has a definite impact because of the Upside Down. The first casualty was Will, and the second was Barbara. Barbara ended up dead, but Will, he survived. And ever since he survived, he's been seeing the Upside Down, and then he's been seeing the Mind Flayer. The Upside Down is like crazy. Crazy, 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 crazy. And creepy.
Mm-hmm. Isn't the Upside Down essentially like, it's like everything in the real world, but like reversed?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of always what I thought it was, but I wasn't 100% sure if it was, I knew it was like a copy of it, but there's also like dangerous dust particles down there too, right? Like it's dangerous to be in the Upside Down.
Yeah, and I just found out, well, this isn't much of a spoiler, but Holly Wheeler thought it was snow.
Yeah, I remember that. And I remember watching it too, and I was like, what is that? But isn't it just, did they say what it actually was, those particles?
Well, some of these people aren't thinking it might be dust particles. Mm-hmm. And Holly confused it with snow.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. It did look like snow, but I know it wasn't. So also another thing, can we jump to to Vecna in season 4. Can we talk about that, or no spoilers?
We will get to Vecna.
Okay.
Well, the Upside Down has its fair share of creatures. It has the Demogorgon, the Demodogs, the Mind Flayer, and, well, turns out there's Vecna too. But this is just the Upside Down, but it is the polar opposite of Hawkins. There's no cars on the road. All of it is just all viney. Everything is just all dark and, well, this is what you see right now. This is what I'm talking about. You see these trees? That's what I'm talking about.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Gross. Do you remember in, I believe, season 1, when Nancy entered through the tree to get to the Upside Down? I was so grossed out by that because it looked just so nasty going when she went in.
Yeah.
Gross.
Well, all of those things may happen in the Upside Down, but it can't stop us but think what we do think about Stranger Things. What I think about Stranger Things, well, I think it's a season of action and adventure, and we're getting introduced to many other new people, like Eddie Munson, for example. And I kind of like Eddie Munson. The reason why I like Eddie Munson is because of how that year was his final year at his high school and ended up dead in the end. At least he did live up to his reputation. That year was his final year, his final moment. Or maybe he could be alive. Because some people are saying that he might come back alive. If he is going to come back alive, like remember what the Demobats did to Steve and he survived them? I don't think that is the case with Eddie Munson. I don't think he died.
Yeah, I actually heard the exact same thing. There's that theory going around that he's going to come back as like a bat or something because of the Demobats. So, I don't know. I do think it maybe could happen. I do think he could still be alive.
Yeah.
It makes me excited to want to watch season 5 just to see if that theory is correct.
If that theory is correct, then hopefully there's more of Eddie Munson to like.
Mm-hmm. He's one of my favorite characters for sure.
Yeah. And all of these characters, the beginning characters to begin with before Will's disappearance was, well, at the beginning was just Will Byers, Mike Wheeler, Dustin Henderson, Lucas Sinclair, and they were playing their own little game of Dungeons and Dragons. Like, who knew Dungeons and Dragons would be in there? And because of Elle, she took the reference of the Demogorgon's piece of the Dungeons and Dragons. It seems like this is a world where Dungeons and Dragons is real. But I was trying to look up Demobats and Demodogs, to see if they were real, nothing came up on the demo bats. Maybe it's a brand new species for the Dungeons and Dragons game. And same thing, well, maybe for the Demodogs, but I think I understand what the Demodogs are like. It's like the beginning stages of what a Demogorgon is.
Oh, is that really what it is? So it starts off as a demo dog and then it turns into a Demogorgon, or two separate things?
I think they're both the same thing because remember when Dustin was raising his own little new species that he just discovered?
Yeah. What did he name his little species? Do you remember what he called his pet?
Dart.
Dart. Yes, that's what it was. Yeah. It always seemed like a bad idea, even when he kept it. I knew something was wrong. And then he learned very quickly that it was not a cute little creature.
Yeah, but if it weren't for Dart, Dustin would not have came to Steve Harrington, and Steve Harrington wouldn't have been a babysitter. He would just be what he is.
That's very true. Yeah. And they have a great little friendship, Steve and Dustin, too. Their relationship is very funny throughout the seasons. I'd say they're one of the biggest, they're the comedy relief throughout the show. Did you ever find yourself laughing at Steve and Dustin sometimes? Dustin, I think, is he's just funny.
I don't see it.
Oh, you don't see it? I thought it was a little silly, but.
Well, Dustin does have his fair share of his friends in the series, like you said, Steve Harrington, and definitely Eddie Munson. Mm-hmm. Dustin definitely knew Eddie Munson to begin with, and so did Chrissy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they definitely viewed Eddie as almost like a cooler older brother, this cool guy in school. But it's kind of funny because I don't think every single kid in Hawkins thought Eddie Munson was cool, but Dustin, you could tell he definitely loved him.
Yeah, he has a good taste in friends. Mm-hmm. And especially he has a girlfriend.
Eddie Dustin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you like their little song that they sang together?
I like the song.
You liked it? Did you find that funny?
No.
No. Oh.
I just found it on karaoke and I sung it.
Did you really? I can't believe they have that on karaoke. That's so funny.
They do.
Wow.
I was on my iPad to see if The Never-Ending Story was a real song, and it is. Mm-hmm. And once I looked it up for karaoke, I found it. I could also sing it for North Andover Cam to prove it is a karaoke song.
I would love that. I think we should make it happen. It's a catchy song.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Well, that's good to know because I feel like next time I go and do karaoke, I might sing that. I didn't know it was a karaoke song, so thank you.
You're welcome.
That's funny.
And there's definitely, Russians
Yes.
for some reason.
They kind of just come up. Season 3, I would say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the mall. That they were essentially using the mall, right, as their headquarters. And that's where we're introduced to Robin as well in season 3.
Yes, Robin. Mm-hmm. I like her.
I like her too. I think she's funny too.
Any friend of Dustin to Steve and any friend of Steve, I definitely like. Mm-hmm. So Robin's cool in my books.
Yeah, me too. I like her.
So, Let's jump to Vecna now.
Okay. The big guy. Probably one of the scariest, or I would say most developed creature in Stranger Things.
Yeah, believe it or not, Eddie Munson kind of brought him up that he was missing an eye and something's up with his leg, but that isn't true of the creature that we saw.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have any memory of, because he had both his eyes and legs, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I wonder why Eddie said that. He didn't have it.
Yeah, maybe Dungeons and Dragons might have inspired that.
Yeah.
But not really in this world. It's more like, well, I would say definitely the polar opposite. Everything's the polar opposite.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
So there are a lot of things that are kind of the polar opposite, not only to Hawkins, but Dungeons and Dragons itself. So we get the creatures and we get the consensus of the Upside Down. But to Vecna, well, I'm going to make that a video about how I understand Vecna, but not in this talk show. But definitely can be very creepy. So when we saw the dust particles in the Upside Down and Holly thought that was snow, it's not really. She does not know what a dust particle is to snow. I think she might be confused.
Yeah, I agree. I think coming into the Upside Down, like your first assumption maybe would be, what is this? Like, looks like snow. But they're also in like you have to be in full gas masks to even go down there. So I can't even imagine, like, if you breathe that in, it's probably really bad for you.
Well, I think that might happen to Will.
Yeah, that's probably why he's so sick. And, at the end of season 4, I don't know if you caught it, but I think they did a shot of him and he had like the chills, like the shivers, and he kind of touched the back of his neck. He said that he felt this like chill going down his spine whenever he felt that Vecna or the Mind Slayer was near. And at the end of season 4, they kind of alluded that he still felt that presence. So I think that the Mind Flayer is still with him in some way. Do you think that?
I would have to think so. So maybe you definitely need gas masks when you're going into the Upside Down because, well, I don't think that might be the case with Barbara, but for the other people and what happened to Will, he just had some sort of spinal cord that's fashioned into him. And when he was caught by the Demogorgon in season 1, and when he came back, he coughed up a slug.
Yeah, I think a piece of the Upside Down, or like a creature from the Upside Down, inserted themselves in him, because then they threw it back up.
Yeah, and then he saw the Upside Down.
Yeah. So there's a connection there. He's still, I think, connected to the Upside Down in some way.
Yeah. Almost a bit like Elle, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think in season 2 they thought that they got it out of him. They got everything out of him, but I think that he'll always be connected a little bit, just like Elle to the Upside Down. Yeah, I agree.
Then maybe Elle has been to the Upside Down before and maybe had the same thing what happened to Will.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I don't know if she had anything. I don't think she swallowed or anything like nested in her like that slug did with Will, or like the creature did. But I think she's able to kind of access the Upside Down, and or even when she does, when she goes in like the sensory deprivation tanks, she's like able to go up to the Upside Down through that, I believe.
Well, I don't think so.
Oh no, is that, how does she, when she's in the water and they cover her ears and they cover her eyes, is that just for her to find other people?
Other people and creatures.
Yeah. But I think she does that just with her own powers that she has.
Yes.
I was really upset at the end of season 3 when she lost her powers. I didn't think they were going to go in that direction. What did you think about that?
Well, it's kind of like back to square one again.
Yeah.
Because I remembered in season 4, she needed to go back to Brenner.
Yeah.
Big time, because when I said back to square one is when Elle was going through a trip down to memory lane. That's when her powers were at her low, developing it.
Mhm. Yeah, I thought that was cool that we got to see, as the viewer, how she got her powers, and you got to watch her get it back. But you also got to learn a little bit more about her background and Vecna's background, because we get introduced to Vecna when she goes back there.
Yeah, and I think when Elle defeated Vecna, kind of respond to season 1 because of how there's a strong energy when Lucas was trying to find what's going on. Mm-hmm. If Elle hadn't done that, then Lucas wouldn't have found the Hawkins lab.
Yeah, exactly. I remember that was in season 1 when he found the lab.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, that was good detective work on his part, because that was the source. He found the source of where, because the Upside Down, that's where the portal was open, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the Upside Down, it wasn't really forming into Hawkins at the time because Elle destroyed Vecna. It was just a different kind of place.
Yeah. Do you remember the part where, I believe it was season 2, they were inside these tunnels and they used the flamethrower to kind of burn the inside of it, and then Will started having like a reaction to it? Do you remember that?
Yes.
I was always curious about where they were and why it was. Do you know why it was burning Will like that too? I never understood that.
Well, I would just say it's because of how he stood up to the Mind Flayer.
Yeah.
When he stood up to the Mind Flayer just to tell him to go away and it didn't work, the Mind Flayer got to him, dashed onto him, and that's why he has this sensory at the back of his neck.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, because they're connected in some way still.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So, the Mind Flayer is a part of the Upside Down, so if you interact with the Upside Down, then something will happen in the connection.
Oh yeah, because if you kill a Demodog or a Demogorgon, Vecna felt that.
Yes.
Yes, I remember that happening. So everything really is connected.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. What did you think about Max? I was very devastated at the end of season 4 when I saw what happened. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on Max, I was thinking she was gonna die.
Do you still think she is?
I don't know, but I think Elle might have used her powers maybe to see if she could, well, try to get her back.
Yeah, she tried to find her. She couldn't.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I'd be very upset if she ends up actually being dead, because she was probably my favorite character. One of them. One of my favorite characters.
How is Max one of your favorite characters?
Why is she, or how is she?
Why?
I just liked her character development. I liked her relationship with Lucas. I liked kind of watching someone knowing, like she knew that Vecna was after her, and just kind of watching her process that and, you know, get through that situation. I just thought she'd handled it well, pretty much knowing she was going to probably die from him. And I thought she showed a lot of strength. I also really liked her relationship that she had with Elle, because she was like the first girlfriend that Elle ever had, because Elle was just friends with, you know, all the other guys. But she was her first real, I would say, best friend that she had, girl best friend. So I liked their connection that they had too.
I believe in season 3.
In season 3, yeah, that's when that happened, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always liked Max, even from when she first was introduced. And I wasn't expecting them to actually come that close to killing her off. So I was really upset. So I hope she's actually still alive.
Well, I would not know if she actually coped up to what she handled in there.
Yeah, because she lost her eyesight, I think.
Like she's blind.
I think she might be. Like, I don't know if they'll be able to, because remember at the end she said that she couldn't see. So she might be blind if they bring her back. I don't know. I don't know the direction that they're going to end up going in. So that's another reason I'm excited for season 5, to see which way they take it. Do you have a favorite character in Stranger Things? I know there's tons. But
My favorite characters are basically on Dustin's friends that he made in Stranger Things, like Steve Harrington, Billy, Eddie, Robin. Dustin's okay in my books.
yeah, I like Dustin a lot too.
But on Susie, I kind of don't know.
Yeah. We don't see too much of Susie. But I do like that she helps every once in a while.
Yeah.
That's nice. So is Dustin your favorite character, or it's Dustin and all of his friends?
I would have to say a part of me likes Dustin.
Yeah. Do you have a least favorite character?
Can't think of one.
Yeah, they're all pretty good. I don't even think I do.
Oh, and Henry Creel, number 1.
Oh, yeah.
Well, back before he was all Vecna.
Mm-hmm.
He did hit Elle. That I liked.
Oh, you liked? Or you didn't like him?
I do like him.
Henry?
Yeah.
What? But before he became Vecna.
Yes.
So I actually missed a little bit of the episode where they talked about the backstory of Henry. So I'll have to go back and watch it. But you don't think he was always evil from the beginning?
Not really. Because Henry kind of felt like Elle is kind of like him a bit.
Yeah. Like different, like they felt like an outsider.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an interesting perspective. It's almost like I really do feel. Do you feel like Papa made these monsters or made it all go wrong? Do you think it was his fault for creating the kids and putting the kids in the lab and making them do all this brain work and stuff?
Gosh, you're making me think on that.
I know. It's a deep theory. Because, like, who really caused it? Like, was it El? Was it Vecna? Was it Papa?
I think it's both.
Yeah, I agree. But I think Papa played a part in it.
But on season 4, Elle came to the consensus of that Brenner was the one responsible because of he was trying to find where, number one, Henry Creel is, where he was in the first place. And I think that kind of responded to the birth of how the Upside Down came to be. So when he entered the Upside Down, I'd say it was forming to be what Hawkins is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think in a way, Brenner did play a part in it. Pretty big part.
Well, only to find Henry.
Yeah.
He had no clue where Henry was.
Yeah.
But I don't think he might have created the creatures.
Oh no, yeah, I don't think so. But I think he like kind of got the ball rolling to then create all these things and have these things stem from what he was trying to do.
Yeah. I like to imagine if I were in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you do if you were in Stranger Things? What crowd do you think you'd be hanging out with? You think you'd be with Dustin?
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just have to get my footing throughout season 1 first.
Yeah.
See where everything lays, and hopefully I would also have an impact.
Oh yeah, I think you'd have a huge impact.
Yeah. I don't know if the people that made this would want to redo these things again, or if there's like a time jump somehow, and it's a repeat of just like all of the other seasons before. That would be some sort of season, like repeating every other season there was, and I were to be a part of what happened. Like, there were these things that I would want to do that I knew that would happen.
Mm-hmm.
Stopping Will from being connected to the Mind Flayer. Letting the Mind Flayer get me instead of Billy. And Billy would be able to pick up Mrs. Wheeler.
Yeah, so that would help him there. So you would actually be a big help. Because I also think if you prevented that from happening too, then I don't think Max would have been caught in Vecna's trap because she was caught from grieving Billy's death. And I think if you stepped in, I don't think Billy would have died. And he would have picked up Mrs. Wheeler, as you said.
Yeah. Well, I do have something to say on Billy's death before he died.
Okay.
Well, if Elle hadn't stopped well, I would say if Elle didn't intervene in what was happening, because of Billy dragging Elle to the Mind Flayer where he was bringing her to, then Billy would definitely be alive. I wouldn't say he would die. The Mind Flayer would die, but I'm thinking in this theory, if the Mind Flayer dies, then he would lose a connection with Billy, and Billy would definitely be alive.
Yeah.
But if it weren't for Elle saying what he said to Billy, in a memory that he had to remember that made him smile, Billy wouldn't have been brave into finally taking down the Mind Flayer, and he would have been alive, but he did what he had to do. He was brave.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're totally right. And you kind of see, like, there was like a brief moment where you could see Billy trying to come through in the end and save everyone and be brave. And I think that was a nice moment.
Yeah. I think if you know a person's true motives, then you would understand what Hogwarts house they would be in.
Yeah. Do you think you would know which? You should do a video where you talk about which house each character in Stranger Things you think they'd be in.
That might be hard.
It would be hard. Probably take a really long time.
Yeah. I would have to do that with Super Carlin Brothers. That's a YouTube channel of these two people, and they would have to understand these people's personalities and what they do go through and what they kind of are like, and they sum up what they are, and then they sort them based on what the sorting hat would sort them to.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. So there's someone who he already kind of does that?
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder if they have one on Stranger Things.
If they do one on Stranger Things, that would be very great.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Or we could ask them to come here. I don't know where they are, but if they come here, then I would want to be a part of it.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have to see if we can message them or something. YouTube comment.
YouTube comment.
Come to North Andover, Massachusetts and film with us.
Yeah. I think that might sum up everything. Or should we talk about the other characters and what we think about them?
I don't know. It's up to you. I think we talked about a lot of stuff in this episode, I would say. I think we hit a lot of good theories and a lot of good topics of conversation. So it's up to you. We could do this again next time and do a 2-part series, or we can try to finish it up, whatever you want.
How about let's just continue talking about what we like or dislike about the character.
Okay.
How about Mike Wheeler?
I like Mike Wheeler, and I liked in season 4 the connection Will made to Mike, and like how he's the core of the group. He's the one who supports and brings everyone up, and he's the base of everyone. But at times, I don't know. I found myself more drawn to other characters, I will say, than I did Mike. I kind of just sometimes felt like he was just there to be Elle's boyfriend. And like sometimes that's all he was Elle's boyfriend. I don't know. What are your thoughts on Mike?
I'd agree with you on the boyfriend-girlfriend thing. And, well, I guess I'm the same thing with you. I don't know about him.
Yeah, it just seems like he didn't have... Like his character arc, I guess, was more just like being there for Elle and his friends.
Yeah. Lucas and Claire.
I like Lucas. I like Lucas a lot. I liked his relationship with Max. And I like that he, like, you know, stepped up and did a lot of things, too. Like, he did a lot of things himself. Like, he found the lab, as you said. And I just think he was really great in season 4 to Max as well. Like, he just knew she was struggling. He knew she was going through a really, really hard time. And he was really the only one that was like, Max, like, I can see there's something wrong. Are you okay? What's going on? He was constantly there for her and constantly making sure she was okay. And I thought that was really nice of him. What do you think?
Yeah, that was very nice of him.
Do you like him?
I kind of don't know.
You don't know? Yeah. He was definitely another one of those characters that I wouldn't say hid in the background a little bit because he's been there with us since season 1 too, but I felt there were more different storylines that were more exciting.
I just question his relationship with Max.
Oh, yeah, you do?
Yeah, because of season 3 and season 2. Yeah, right there.
Yeah. It's a good thought.
But he was trying to help Max to understand what happened in season 1.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He did that. I think he's always liked Max, too, since the beginning. But I also like, I don't feel like it's like Mike where everything is like, he's just obsessed with Elle and like Elle is his main focus. I feel like Lucas does a good job of still being himself and caring about his friends and having his own adventure while also helping Max.
Yeah. Jim Hopper.
Love Jim Hopper. At the beginning, you know, I was kind of like, like season 1, I was like, he just seems like a grumpy cop to me. But then his relationship with Joyce and his relationship with Elle, I really started to like Hopper when he took Ellen. Like, I think that was when I was like, oh, I love him. And then when we thought that we lost him, the end of season 3, that also made me love him a lot more because watching all the way up to season 3 and then not knowing if he was going to be back in season 4. And then seeing that he was back and was still alive, I was so excited. And I just thought he just had his character development was huge, I thought. Especially at the end, like he just made it through so much with everything that the Russians were doing to him. And he survived it and he came out stronger. So I really like Hopper a lot. What about you?
I just think he's just a cop and he was doing what he was doing to make sure he protected Hawkins.
Yeah. Do you like that he became Elle's kind of dad figure?
I don't think he was much of a dad figure when you think about it.
He was kind of gone a lot of the time. He left her home alone a lot of the time. But I do think he was there for her in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Took her in, which I thought was nice.
Joyce Byers.
I liked Joyce in the beginning. You know, it was nice I like the actress who plays Joyce. But it was nice to watch a struggling mother with the loss of her son, or what but she knew deep down he was still there, and her kind of going through and doing all these things to communicate with Will. I thought that was really cool. And I felt that she played this really, really big part in season 1 and season 2. But then by season 4, I felt that she kind of fizzled out a little bit. I mean, she did go and find Hopper and help him and everything. But I didn't feel as drawn or connected to her by the end of season 4. What about you?
I would just say she's a good mother.
Yeah, definitely a good mother.
Yeah. But I definitely agree with you on season 1 of her.
Mm-hmm. That's where we saw, I think, the most of her.
Yeah. Jonathan Byers.
I like Jonathan too. I liked him in season 1 a lot because, again, you could tell he was a good brother. All he cared about was Will. I liked his relationship that he had with Nancy. But then in season 4, I just feel like he totally flopped and just became this like lazy, like I just feel like his character development just went in a completely different direction. And he was funny. Like I thought that there was some comic relief to Jonathan and his development, but I was disappointed. I just feel like he became kind of a bad boyfriend to Nancy, and he just was not stepping up in a lot of ways. What do you think?
I think he kind of stepped up to Nancy in season 1, and season 2, and season 3.
Yeah.
But season 4 flopped.
He flopped. I agree. And I was just like, what the heck? I loved Jonathan, and he became just like bleh. But he did have a great conversation with Will at, I think, the last episode, season 4, which I did like. As a brothers, their conversation that they had. And he did recognize. He did say, I know I haven't really been there for you recently, but I will be here for you now. And I did appreciate that.
Yeah. Nancy.
I like Nancy too. Season 1, season 1 I didn't like her. I thought she was mean. But I think that was kind of the point of her character development, is she started off as unlikable, and then she really like stepped up and just became very, very brave. And by the end, she was the one. She was always holding the weapons every time. You always see Nancy Wheeler with the gun, usually shooting the creatures. So I think she was brave. And I thought her character development was well done.
Yeah. I'd agree with you everything on right there.
Yeah. And I liked her relationship with Jonathan and Steve. Especially at the end with Steve. Like I felt like there were some good connections there too.
Yeah. Robin,
well, we didn't see Robin right from the beginning, but Robin, at first I was kind of like, where is she coming from? Like it felt almost random that she was just inserted into the storyline. But then after, I watched a few episodes and saw her and Steve's relationship, I liked that perspective. And I think I also like her as an actress. And she ended up playing a huge part in helping them fight off Vecna, so I like her.
Yeah. So what was the most scariest moments of Vecna to you?
That's a good question. I would probably have to say, like right at the end, when you saw Vecna's like little, I wouldn't even say lair, but you saw all of his victims like lined up, and he had like Elle kind of strapped up against like a pillar, and he was talking to her. I would say, and he was like pretty much killing Max in front of Elle. I would say that's where I was like the most creeped out by him.
Yeah, well, as much as I liked talking about everything from before, of how we summed up everything about the Upside Down and the characters that had these moments, I'd like to continue on every other character. So, I may have mentioned other people, but it's just to get the clearing of the first people to the next set of people in their development. But I would like to jump the gun and go to the next person. But not literally at me, Nancy.
What character?
Nancy.
Nancy Wheeler?
Yeah.
I like Nancy Wheeler.
We already discussed
Yeah,
about
we
her.
discussed her.
Yeah. But she had a gun and she was like shooting these guns at these cams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you always see Nancy Wheeler. She's the one who holds the weapon. And you first watch in season 1, she can't shoot it. Like, she doesn't have great aim. And then season 4, you see her with this killer aim. And she, in season 4, is the one who's shooting Vecna. And I just thought that was, the character development was really there with her.
Yeah, okay. Will Byers.
Will is interesting because I almost kind of felt like he was not the main character, but he goes through all this trauma. He's the one who enters the Upside Down. He's the one who kind of is the first character of the group of boys to go through trauma. And, you see that happen, and then you see that happen in season 2 even more. And then I felt that in season 3, 4, he took a little bit of a step back, and it became more about Elle and the other characters, because technically the Mind Flayer was released from him in season 2, and he was just working on being better. But then, yeah, I just felt that the storyline was kind of pulled away from him, and there were only brief moments where we really got to see Will, especially in season 4. But there was that scene in the car with Mike where he kind of confessed how he felt about him, and that made me really sad to watch that. And I thought that was an interesting moment to highlight Will in.
Yeah. What do I think about Will? Yeah, same thing with you.
Yeah.
He does have a lot of trauma.
Mm-hmm. But I think we're going to go back to Will. They kind of hinted at season 4. It seemed that Will might make maybe a bigger step.
Yeah. Elle.
I like Elle too. Actually love Elle. I love that she loves her friends. I love that she is very powerful and strong. I love a good strong female lead. I will say in season 4, she did some things that were she's a little crazy at times. She does some crazy things, like the rollerblade, when she hit that girl on the head with the rollerblade. I thought that was a little crazy. I remember watching and just being like, Elle, what are you doing? That was crazy. But I also think she's had some trauma as well. And getting to watch her get her powers back, you really see all the things that she went through. I will say I feel like we know the most about Elle.
Yeah. Elle is definitely strong with her powers.
Mm-hmm.
But when they're not, active, you definitely need to step back and let Brenner take over just so that she could go back down to memory lane to going back to where her powers were at the start.
Mm-hmm.
It may be it's low, but then it got back to Elle seeing her powers in more action-like.
Yeah. And I always thought those moments were like just cool. Like she just looked so cool when she was using her powers in that way.
Yeah. And if she hadn't gone down to memory lane, she wouldn't have gotten back her powers.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next character. That would be Max Mayfield.
Yeah, I love Max. I've always liked Max. I thought she was cool when they brought her in. I liked her relationship with Lucas. I know we already kind of talked about her a little bit, but yeah, I've always liked her, and I was really upset of what would happen to her.
Max is kind of out there. She does have a character development. She does have a good connection with Elle. I'd say the only person that she could ever talk to and definitely as a friend.
Yeah.
Billy.
So honestly, I always thought Billy he seemed mean to me when I first met him. I was like, oh, he just seems like a jerk. Like, and that's just how he kind of presented himself. It was funny to watch him with Mrs. Wheeler. And I thought he was just pretty mean to Max most of the time. So I didn't really like him, but then it was interesting to watch the Mind Flayer take over and essentially use him to do all this crazy destructive damage. But I did like, how we were saying, you could see Billy kind of come through at the end and show a lot of bravery. And I liked that element of it.
Yeah, and I definitely know that Elle went both into Max's memories and Billy's memories to see why he ended up being a jerk in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of don't blame him.
Yeah, I agree. And that was interesting to see that perspective of it all.
Everybody has their own perspectives in life and how they would go in their life. But you can't blame Billy for what he kind of did, but he is okay despite the harshness he kind of did.
Yeah.
And that kind of sparked definitely the character development in season 3 of Billy.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Munson.
I love Eddie. I liked his humor. I liked his quirkiness, his nerdiness. I know a lot of people like Eddie. I see everywhere online. A lot of girls like Eddie. They say that he was their favorite. And I can see why. I liked Eddie too. I liked that he saved Dustin in the end. I liked that he just had his full, he wanted to be the hero. And I think he was at the end. He went out fighting, and I hope they bring him back.
Well, vampire?
Vampire, that'd be cool. I'd like that.
You would like that?
I think I'd like it. It'd be like Twilight, kind of.
Twilight.
Yeah, with vampires.
You like vampires?
Yeah.
Oh. Jason.
Jason? Who is that?
One of the basketball players.
Oh, I don't like him. He was the bully, right? Was he the one that was trying to just kill Lucas and Eddie?
He was the one who had a connection with Chrissy.
Okay, so he was Chrissy's boyfriend, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't like him at all. I think he was evil. He was just trying to kill everyone because he thought that Eddie killed Chrissy, but he didn't. And he was just trying to avenge Chrissy's death for the entire season. But he was going in the completely wrong direction because it wasn't Eddie. So I didn't like him. Did you like him?
Would you be shocked to know that I did like him?
I'm a little shocked. You liked him?
You are shocked already?
A little, if that's the case. Do you like him?
At the start, I did like him.
Oh, like in the first couple episodes?
Well, he's someone who does bring out good points in his speeches. He just wants to know what is going on, like everybody does not know what's really going on.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that the Upside Down is coming into Hawkins.
Mm-hmm.
Like, remember you saw the dust particles?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he does, I guess, in his speeches bring up a few good points, but he just was so wrong in because he also kind of messed up what was happening with Max and Lucas at the end. He came in and was trying to kill Lucas when there was just other stuff going on. He just like complicated them trying to take care of Vecna.
Yeah, but if Lucas actually told him the truth, he would understand what was going on.
Or did he try? Or he didn't even try to tell him the truth?
I think he never tried. All he got was just a fight with Lucas and then ended up dead.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he ended up dying. I forgot that.
I think we covered every single character, do you think?
I think we did. I think we hit every one. I think we had really good topics and discussions today.
Yeah. How about the Russians? What are your thoughts on the Russians?
They played a big part in season 3 and season 4, I guess. I actually liked the Russian spy that tried to help Hopper escape. I liked him. And I liked the pilot. I forget his name though.
Yui?
Was it Uni or?
Yuri.
Yuri, that's what it was. Yeah. I liked Yuri. Thought he was kind of funny.
Oh, there is another person. I'm blanking on him already. Oh, actually 2 more. There's Murray Bauman.
Who is that? Oh, is he the assistant?
He was the next assistant for Joyce in season 4.
Yes. I liked him.
You like him. And Bob.
Yeah, I loved Bob. Oh, I was so sad when Bob died. I loved Bob.
You liked Bob.
Yeah, I just thought he was a sweetheart. And I was very sad that he died.
Yeah.
He was the first real character death I feel like we saw.
I kind of felt like he's a real father figure to Joyce and to Will.
Yeah,
Just to help Will with his problems.
I agree. Yeah, it was sad.
Yeah. Well, I think we did took the whole characters.
Yeah.
How about the thoughts on the Mind Flayer?
I think the Mind Flayer is interesting. I thought the concept was interesting of him. I thought it was really creepy to see it in its actual form. And
I was kind of disgusted.
yeah, it was a little disgusting. And I thought, I thought the concept was interesting of it. And to see it in all from really far away, it kind of looked like a giant like spider. So that scared me a little bit.
And last but not least, the Demogorgon.
It's cool to watch the monsters develop throughout the seasons and see them just get creepier and creepier. I've actually seen, I feel like I've seen like some zombie movies or like a video game, or I'm thinking it reminded me a little bit of, I don't know if you've ever seen A Quiet Place, but it reminded me of those monsters from that. I've seen similar monsters to the Demogorgons, but I mean, they're still pretty creepy. The fact that they don't have a face, just a giant flowery mouth. I don't even know what it is. So they're creepy, but I like the Mind Flayers like better. I think it's creepier.
Yeah. Well, that concludes this talk show. So, any last remarks before we end this?
No, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for having me and talking with me. And I think we got to both nerd out a little bit about Stranger Things. So this is a fun way to spend my workday.
That's good. Well, to end with me, I'll just have some last things to say. So, after this, I will have the talk on if Ash did beat Leon from Pokemon. And then I'll go back to Stranger Things again, talking about the consensus on Vecna and what he is capable of. And then after that, I would want to talk about my feelings towards North Andover Chem and how North Andover Chem would definitely help me in the long run. And that'll be it.
Bye-bye.
Erica Sinclair.
Erica is Lucas's little sister, right? I love her. I think she is really funny. I think she has a bigger role. I don't even know if she's in season 2 or if she is in season 2. She's like really young. But I know in season 3 she really plays a big part. And in season 4 she plays a big part. Especially at the end, she really helps out with the big plan to destroy Vecna. So I think she is a really great character, and she adds really well to the storyline. What do you think?
To me, I think she's kind of a piece of work.
You think she's a piece of work?
Yeah.
What? Why?
Because in season 3 of there was something that it was in it for her.
Yeah. To go in the vents. Right?
Yeah. She needed ice cream.
Yeah. But like, I would do the same, right? I'd be like, I'm not going in this gross event for no reason. I need something out of it. And ice cream, like, of course, who doesn't want ice cream? Like, I see why she did it. Your opinion didn't change by season 4 Like at the end when she helped destroy Vecna. You still didn't like her?
She's still a piece of work to me, but when I saw her in season 4, she definitely knows how to talk smack.
She does, yeah. But I think it's kind of funny. I think it's a different perspective on. Well, she's just like, I think she's supposed to be like the annoying little sister, like, and I think she does play that role pretty well.
The annoying little sister?
Yeah.
I don't think she's annoying.
Oh, you just think she's a piece of work.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Argyle.
So Argyle, we don't meet until season 4. So I didn't have much of a connection with him, I would say, throughout it. But I did think he's really funny. Like, he makes me laugh. And I think he also helps out everyone throughout it. He gives everyone a ride pretty much the whole time. So I like him. What do you think?
I think he's very funny.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a little slow, I would say. I don't know. He's silly.
Well, I kind of liked one of his expressions, try before you deny, because I remembered that when Argyle brought out a piece of pizza to Mike and Elle, and that kind of disturbed almost a kind of connection right there between them. And then when Elle ate the pizza, Elle liked the pizza, and after Elle liked the pizza, Mike was like, "Oh, come on!" And you like it?
Yeah. Yeah, that was funny. And it was nice of him that he let them into the pizza restaurant to remember they had to make the sensory deprivation tank for Elle so she could go and see Max. And he like opened up the shop for them to go in. I thought that was really nice.
Yeah. And when Mike was being what he was, Argyle was trying to lift him up to make sure he stops him from not leaving. Elle was about to feed Mike a piece of pizza. And Argyle was still like, try before you deny. Try before you deny.
Yeah. It was funny. That was a good scene. He's definitely a big comedic relief throughout, like the serious scenes. So I like him.
Yeah.
And I like his van that he drives around.
Pass it, don't you bother yet, say.
I listen to that song all the time. It's funny.
He's like a chill dude to me.
Yeah, he's chill. Chill, relax, takes things easy, doesn't let anything stress him out. It's funny.
Yeah. And well, I kind of agree with Argyle. Try before you deny your food. Because if there's a food you like, and if there's a food you don't like, if you deny the food that you don't like, you should definitely try it. Otherwise, you might not know if you like it or not. So it's better to try than deny than not try it, because you might not find out what could be your next favorite food could be.
Preach. Or you could be missing out on pizza. Who would want to go their whole life without trying pizza?
Yeah.
Try before you deny.
Yeah, we'll always try before you deny.
Oh, yeah.
Peace, Argyle, peace. Okay, and the last character,
Last but not least, fan favorite, I would say.
the babysitter. Oh, it's a goddamn babysitter. Steve Harrington.
Steve. Now I love Steve. Season 1, obviously, he wasn't the nicest, so I was kind of like, ugh. But like you could tell he liked Nancy. You could tell he didn't want to be a part of the mean group of kids, and I just grew to like Steve more and more throughout the whole series. I think he just adds to it so well. He has nice hair, and he's just he provides comedic relief while also he's very much a hero, I would say, throughout all 4 seasons. What do you think?
I would say yeah.
Yeah, you like Steve? Steve might be one of my favorite characters, honestly. I might even like him more than I don't know, I always said Steve was like one of my favorites, but season 4 for sure. I definitely really grew to like Steve.
On my thoughts on Steve, well, I just think he just is who he is, as what he was at the start. For until when we get through the rest of season 1, I've seen him taking on that Demogorgon.
And he kills it.
Yeah, even though he may have gone in a rough edge with Nancy a bit, all because of Jonathan, I'd say.
Yeah.
But Jonathan was just trying to help Nancy through what both of them just saw.
Yeah. Now I have an important question for you. Are you team Nancy and Steve or team Nancy and Jonathan?
I'd have to go with Team Steve and Nancy because they both liked each other from the start.
Yeah. I actually agree now because I liked Nancy and Jonathan season 1, season 2, but then I feel like Jonathan just kind of fell off on season 4 and just became lazy and wasn't really caring or trying, and Steve really was attentive to Nancy. You could tell he really liked her. So by the end of season 4, I was team Nancy and Steve, just like you. So I hope maybe in season 5, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would never forget how he fought that Demogorgon.
Yeah. He's a hero.
Yeah. But even though he had his falling out in season 1, he did try to want to patch things up and try to take responsibility for his action on Nancy, and then tries to smooth things over when he went to Nancy, but couldn't because of this Demogorgon, and that caused him to finally fight the Demogorgon.
Yeah, it was a good build-up, and again, he always shows remorse. He always is trying to be a better person, and I also like his relationship with the kids in that he's the babysitter, and he complains about being the babysitter, but I think he actually enjoys spending time with all the kids, and Dustin and him, their relationship is also pretty funny, little brother. He's his little brother, and I always like scenes that they're in together.
Yeah. In season 2, I think he kind of took a step back because of the new guy, Billy. But we're seeing what happened to Nancy when she got drunk. And he had enough. But the last thing he would want to do is just to bring flowers to Nancy. And that kind of caused him to go to Dustin.
Yeah.
and that's how he sprung the babysitting.
Yeah.
Despite wanting to get back to Nancy again, Dustin had to go ruin the mood because of Steve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dustin always kind of seems to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's done all of that because, after all, I wouldn't forget, he's very memorable because of his babysitting throughout season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because of how he fought the Demodogs. That's hands down one of the greatest fights I like.
Yeah. I could agree. Yeah, I think he's like one of the MVPs for sure.
Yeah. In season 3, he's just who he is again, but Robin,
Yeah, him and Robin there. I forgot about Robin and him's friendship too. That was a nice development in season 3. And he did play a big part in season 3 in finding the Russians.
yeah, the side villains.
Yeah, in the mall. Like, I think he played, another key role. And he brought Robin onto the team. And Robin, I think, also plays a huge part in season 3, season 4.
Yeah, well, only because of the ice cream scoop place.
Yeah, I guess they were forced to be friends, but their dynamic throughout it was good.
Yeah. But he's still what he is, and I still like what he is in season 3. But ever since of what the Russians did to both Robin and Steve, kind of made them more connected more than ever, but also something was wrong with them.
Wrong with who?
Robin and Steve because of the Russians.
Oh yeah, that was crazy that they did that. I would never do that.
Yeah.
I'd be too scared. But they're brave. That's why they're the heroes, I would say.
Yeah. But when they felt like something was coming up in their stomachs, they finally got back themselves together. And when they did, they finally fought the Mind Flayer and joined everyone else. And at the end of season 3, they were trying to look for a new job since the mall burned down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they ever find a new job? Oh yeah, they worked in the movie store, right? Was it a movie store that they ended up working at in season 4? Or Robin worked there?
Both him and Robin.
Both him and Robin, yeah. Was it a movie store? Am I correct with that?
More like slash movie slash arcade.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And since in the pickup of season 4, Robin and Steve are still what they were, except Robin was going on her journey with Nancy. She was getting to know Nancy.
Yeah. Yeah. I forgot about that dynamic too, because Nancy didn't really like Robin to begin with. She kind of found her, I think she found her annoying throughout most of season 4, and then they really started to work together at the end of it. And I think she put aside their differences that they had.
I don't think I saw that.
You didn't? It just seemed that Nancy was constantly like annoyed with Robin throughout season 4. She didn't really seem to like her very much. But then when they started working together like a little bit more, went to the library and did research, that's when I think they started to get over whatever they were dealing with.
I think I missed that one.
Yeah, you should watch it again. You'll kind of see this time if you just pay attention to like the way Nancy like reacts towards Robin. She just seems like annoyed with her most of the time.
Maybe. But I just want to focus on season 5.
Yes, I know. I'm excited for season 5. I'll probably rewatch all of them though. By the time season 5 comes out, I'll probably watch season 1 all the way through season 4, and then watch season 5 as a build up, so I remember everything. A refresher.
Yeah. Well, continuing on the talk of what I was saying in season 4, even though what you were saying about Robin and Nancy being the duo, Robin and Steve were still, well, I want to say together, but I mean like together as friends.
Yeah, yeah.
And they continued being friends throughout season 4 for until I do not know what happened with Robin and Steve, because I think they were separate somehow. Separated.
Separated, like, physically? Or, well, I don't think they were ever, like, dating or anything like that. Like, they were always just been, like, really close friends.
I wasn't say they were dating.
Oh, you mean separated, like, physically?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Nancy and her kind of went together. And then Steve, again, he was being the babysitter. And he was, like, with Max and Dustin and Lucas.
Yeah, all because of Vecna.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were just being their own individual person.
Yeah.
So, overall, on Steve, I think Steve is the best character of them all.
You think so? Is he your favorite?
If I had to rank my favorite characters, I would have to make a ranking video of my favorite characters. Like Eddie Munson, Billy Hargrove, and Steve Harrington. Those just remain my 3 favorites.
Yeah. They're all pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve is up there for me. Steve is probably one of my favorites.
So I'll just make a ranking video and see which one tops all.
That'll be a good video. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah. And this will conclude this video of the last 3 characters that I kind of left out from last week. So that wraps it up. Later.
Bye.